say hello to the WEM14, the latest iteration in WE's blowback rifle series. This is, without a doubt, the single coolest airsoft rifle I have ever handled. The entire rifle has been built from the ground up to emulate the look, feel, and function of the real steel M14, and I can honestly say, WE has more than achieved that goal. I can only hope that this rifle marks the start of an ever-growing gas blowback lineup. When you first take the gun out of the box, you know you're holding something truly special. The combination of the weight and steel parts makes it feel tough as nails, and the operation of the bolt is ultra smooth. When fired, the function itself feels as close to the real deal as you can get. The gun is an absolute blast to shoot. It's got a great distinctive sound, and the recoil felt feels similar to that of a .22. The gun comes packaged with a 20-round magazine with a gas reservoir capable of holding enough charge for roughly 2 magazines, or around 60 rounds. WE is also including a spring for the magazine that, when installed, allows it to hold up to 30 rounds. An installation guide for the spring will be posted as a separate video. A small Allen key to adjust the hop-up is also included, as well as a 20-round speed loader specifically tailored to the M14's mags. Lastly, the M14 comes packaged with a small owner's manual, featuring a very handy exploded view of the gun. Moving on to the gun itself, the function and features are relatively similar to that of any M14 AEG. It features your standard PEEP aperture sights, complete with full windage and elevation adjustments, front and rear sling mounts, semi and automatic fire selector, and a functioning safety. However, the safety can only be engaged after the bolt has been racked. Lastly, the rifle features a hinged butt plate that can be used as a shoulder support when necessary. Underneath the plate is a small compartment in the stock that can be used to hold anything you'd like. My only immediate gripe about the M14 is the imitation wood stock. However, it has been confirmed that both a real wood and an EBR stock are currently in the works. It is also possible to mount a real steel stock on this rifle, with a bit of Dremel work, of course. Even so, the imitation stock is made of a high-quality nylon fiber and feels just as solid as wood. Doesn't do a half-bad job of replicating it either. The disassembly of this rifle is quite literally a snap. As always, begin by removing the magazine. Now you can remove the trigger grouping. By pulling the rear of the trigger guard towards the stock and up at an angle, the trigger guard should snap free. After the trigger grouping has been removed, you can now remove the stock from the upper receiver. Carefully slide the stock back and up at an angle, and that's it. It's that simple. You now have full access to the internals. We'll start the overview off by going over the trigger grouping. The grouping is an awesome piece of work in itself. It mimics the look of the real steel grouping, and similar to the real deal, the functionality is simplified and streamlined. The grouping mainly consists of steel and aluminum parts, and after some 1,000-aught rounds, it's holding up just as well as day one. Moving on to the upper receiver, you'll find that it's just as well machined as the grouping. Looking at the rear of the rifle, we can see that WE has installed a thick rubber pad to better distribute the impact of the bolt, and reduce general wear and tear on the rifle. Moving forward, you'll find the gas valve. The gas valve on the receiver meshes perfectly with the valve located on the magazine. This creates an excellent seal between the two, making for overall better consistency, which clearly manifests in the chrono readings later on. Connected to the gas valve is the nozzle assembly. The nozzle assembly is made of plastic, presumably because it is better suited for the lower temperatures and freezing associated with skirmishing a gas rifle system. Toward the end of the receiver, the hop-up unit becomes visible. The included Allen key can be used to adjust the hop-up to your liking. The hop-up wheel firmly clicks into place with each turn, which is a very nice feature. Our last stop on the internal tour is WE's new open bolt design. This design allows the rifle to function without the brass tube found on WE's SCAR models. In addition, it also makes for easy access to the rifle's hop-up bucking, which can be handy for clearing any debris or dirt that could possibly find its way into the M14. Reassembly is just as easy as disassembly. Simply reinsert the stock, drop in the trigger grouping, and after making sure the trigger grouping is flush with the rest of the stock, give a sharp wrap to the trigger guard and you're ready to rock. We'll start off with some chrono readings. On a 90-degree day, with a full charge of propane, the first few shots were very hot. However, after about 5 shots, the velocity settled into a consistent average of around 411 FPS. As for the range, the M14 had no problem reaching out to upwards of 200 feet. When it came down to the rate of fire, the M14 was able to squeeze off roughly 11 rounds a second, earning it a 6 on hard charge. Moving on to accuracy and grouping, it's worth noting that for both tests, we switched to .25 gram BBs due to the rifle's high velocity. In terms of accuracy, the M14 excelled, placing shots 1.5 inches from the center of our target at 50 feet away, earning it an 8 on our chart. When it came to grouping, the M14 did just as well, with an average distance of 1.99 inches between BB impacts, barely snagging it another 8. Moving on to the external quality, we gave the M14 a 9.5. This is the most realistic M14 on the market. The weight is within ounces of the real deal, and the feel and function is unbelievable. Not to mention, it's built like a tank. It only lost 0.5 point due to the imitation wood stock. Lastly, we allotted the M14 a 9.5 for the internal rating. The internal design is awesome. It's clear from the steel and aluminum parts that this rifle was built to be skirmish. More importantly, the design is simple and the open bolt design makes it one of the coolest rifles around. Overall, the WE-M14 earns itself a 41 out of a possible 50 points, tying for the lead with the Ares M4A1. In conclusion, the WE-M14 is the Ferrari of airsoft guns. It will cost quite a bit, and it's not exactly the most practical machine ever built, but one thing's for sure, this rifle is a beautiful piece of work. More importantly, it's an absolute blast. This is hands down the most fun I've ever had with an airsoft rifle. The camera really doesn't do it justice. This rifle is a milsim player's dream, and offers up a whole new world from the standard AEG. If you're the kind of player that likes to make every shot count, it shouldn't have a problem holding its own on the field. All in all, if you're looking for a change from the norm and want a gas blowback rifle that can hold its ground among the sea of AEGs out there, not to mention something that's as cool to look at as it is to shoot, you can't go wrong with the WE-M14.